Joseph is 15 years old, born in Chatsford, Pennsylvania. He's coached by Priscilla Hill-Wampler and choreographed by Alexander Kirsanov. Skating a short program, the Violin Concerto, Opus 35 by Tchaikovsky.
What should you do when your dreams are dying? For as long as I can remember, I've had a burning desire to be great at something. To not just be good, but to be the best. To push the boundaries of what humans are capable of. But what happens when the universe keeps telling you that this just isn't the path for you? When I was 7 years old, I went to a friend's birthday party, and it just so happened to be at an ice rink. One of the figure skating coaches noticed me speeding around the rink and asked if I wanted to take some lessons. Little did I know, over the next 10 years, I would train to become one of the best figure skaters in the entire country. Over this 10-year period, my ambitions for the sport kept growing and growing. First, I wanted to be the best out of all of my coach's students. Then, I wanted to be the best in the entire rink. Then one day, I thought to myself, I'm gonna become the best figure skater in the entire world. And this journey went quite well, at least for a while. But around the time I was 14 years old, I entered into an extremely dark period of my life, partly because the sport that I had done all my life had begun to treat me terribly. The immense pressure from competitions, constant injuries, and feeling as though I was trapped in a sport I no longer enjoyed took an enormous toll on my already crumbling mental health. But I continued to push through, not because of any pressure from family or coaches, but because the desire to become the best, to leave my mark on a sport, even one that I had grown to hate, was still burning inside, despite it all. This was until the US Championships of 2021, when I decided that I've had enough. I was gonna take a break from skating. I didn't know how long, but I needed at least a week away. During this week, a group of my high school friends took me to a local gym where they lifted almost every day. And over the next few weeks, I would slowly become more and more obsessed with it, chasing the highs of new PRs and watching my body change. Then pairing this with my new discovery of caffeine and electronic dance music, I had just found my new favorite thing of all time. 1 week away from skating turned to 2, then to 3. Then it turned into 3 months, then half a year. And after all this time, I realized I had barely thought about the sport I spent my entire adolescence doing almost daily. The dream that I had spent chasing ever since I was a kid disappeared almost instantly. But I was fine with that. I was by far the happiest I had been in years. And it seemed I had finally had a place to channel all the angst and rage that had built up within me over the past few years. The fire that burned inside me from skating didn't go away though, and my new dream was clear. I wanted to be the strongest, most aesthetically jacked person ever. First, I wanted to be the strongest out of my friends. Then, I wanted to be the strongest in the entire gym. And one day, I thought, I might be pound for pound one of the strongest people to have ever lived. I got pretty far in my lifting journey in just the first 2.5 years, racking up some pretty elite lifting numbers for my weight, as well as developing a physique almost anyone would be proud of. But then something would happen that would once again kill my dream, just as it had before. Not because of anything bad, but because an entirely new obsession was yet again brewing right around the corner. My friend from college had been begging me to join a climbing gym for the better part of 2 years. I had gone before, but never really enjoyed it that much. I would mostly just goof around on some of the easy stuff, making fun of him for taking things so seriously and using cringy slang terms that I've never heard before. Until one day, for some reason, when I went climbing with him, I thought to myself, I wonder what would happen if I tried as hard on a climb as I did in the gym. And the result was absolutely magical. The same joy I got from lifting suddenly carried over onto the climbing wall. Except now I had an infinite possibility of movement options that a lifetime could not fully explore. Over the next few months, my love for climbing kept growing and growing until the thought of it occupied most of my waking consciousness. Now, the goal was clear. First, I wanted to be one of the best climbers in my friend group. Then, I wanted to be one of the best climbers in the entire gym. And finally, one day, I'm gonna be one of the best climbers in the entire world.
Ladies and gentlemen, representing United States of America, Joseph Kang.
first Junior Grand Prix season for Joseph to Piano Concerto No. 2 by Rachmaninoff.
But what happens when the universe tells you that your dreams are just too delusional? What happens when you realize that you're just not cut out for the standards that you've set yourself? It's been around 2.5 years since I first started climbing seriously, and while I still absolutely love it, this worry that I'm just not genetically gifted enough to truly become elite has gnawed at me for almost the entire time I've been in the sport. For whatever reason, being good just isn't enough for me. I want to be great. I want to be the best at the thing that I love the most. Being quite a bit heavier than most elite climbers, combined with horrible genetic wrist issues, being incredibly injury prone, and honestly having a pretty bad fear of heights, does not exactly bode well for somebody who's trying to reach the pinnacle of rock climbing. This feels like the first time in my life where the thing that I always trusted about myself, that I could will my way to greatness if I just worked hard enough and believed in myself, just may not be an option for me anymore. In skating, I had such a huge advantage from being introduced to it so early. Anything where you start from the age of 7 will become second nature to you. And lifting is something where I truly think I have elite genetics for. I hit 1% strength metrics and built my dream physique in only 2 years while having virtually no injuries. But climbing? I started when I was 20, am constantly riddled with injuries, and have some of the worst wrist genetics you could possibly have. I look around at all the elite level climbers coming up, and they all look way skinnier than my natural body size, and don't constantly have to wear different wrist wraps just to climb without pain. For the first time, becoming the athlete that I envisioned for myself just may not be an option. And this feeling that I just may not be cut out for what I expect for myself has reached its apex recently. Every day on social media, it seems, I see someone who just started climbing that is easily sending things that I have absolutely no chance at. I know Instagram is not an accurate portrayal of real life, but it's hard not to use it as an inspiration because of just how many incredible climbers there are posting nowadays. But for someone who is as ambitious as myself, there is a thin line between being inspired and having your dreams absolutely crushed. It's almost been like a grieving process for me to realize that I just might not be as genetically gifted as I thought in the sport that I've come to love so much. And perhaps even worse, my lifetime opportunities for becoming truly great at something seem to have already passed. And I find myself wondering, yet again, if this really is the sport I want to spend the rest of my life doing. So, is it time to leave this sport behind and find a new obsession once again like I've already done twice in the past? Well, I'm not so sure. There's just something about climbing that I can't really get out of my head, no matter how hard I try. The joy I experience every time I'm fighting for my life, clinging to the wall, barely being able to hold on while tensing my entire body, is just something that other activities can't scratch. Even though I've had many obsessions before in my life, climbing is just on a whole nother level, even at my lowest points in the sport. But this begs the question, why do I feel the need to be the best at everything in the first place? Can't I just do things for the joy of it? The best climber is the one that's having the most fun, right? Well, I'm not sure, but maybe growing up competing and having so much success at a young age has caused this insatiable desire for winning to be inseparable from the rest of myself. Or maybe this feeling touches on a deep sense of self-consciousness. I'm worried that I won't be valued if I don't succeed and prove everyone wrong. Truth be told, growing up incredibly shy and smaller than everyone probably instilled in me the idea that I need to become great to earn the respect that I always craved from others. But even though this fire that rages inside of me can lead me to some of the darkest places in my mind, part of me fears losing this side of myself. I'm privileged enough to already have had so much success in life, and I'm someone who needs something to dream about, a goal to chase that is completely unreasonable, delusional even, something to think about as I go to sleep at night. Once my dreams are dead, I really don't know what to do with myself.
Pull hard. Pull harder. Pull harder. Yes.
But perhaps I've been looking at this all wrong. Look, I know no matter how good I get at climbing, it won't be enough for that fire that rages inside. If being one of the best figure skaters in the country did not give me the validation and respect that I craved, then becoming one of the best climbers in the country won't either. There is simply no point at which human brains go, I achieved something, so I've made it. I'm satisfied, and I won't continue pursuing further. No, human brains just don't work that way. We immediately jump to the next thing, and this achievement that you've spent so long pursuing just becomes your new baseline. When I think of the happiest moments I've had in any sport, it rarely comes at a moment when I achieved some grandiose goal. Sure, winning figure skating nationals for my age group, benching 2 plates for the first time, and sending my first V10 are all amazing moments. But the satisfaction is always short-lived and comes with new expectations for myself. A week after winning intermediate nationals, I had my sights set on the next season. Days after benching 2 plates, suddenly I wanted to bench 3. Mere hours after sending V10, I was already watching beta videos of the V11 link-up. In contrast, many of the moments that have given me the most joy and gratification often come on the most ordinary of days. Pushing myself in the gym all by myself, squeezing every ounce of try hard out of my system, improvising a routine on the ice to a new favorite song, climbing with friends after the gym closes, and completely losing track of time because of just how much fun it is. These moments, in my opinion, are what really make life worth living. In these moments, I'm not feeling as though I'm being watched by someone judging my every move, criticizing every little thing that could be better. I'm not checking in on where I am in the journey. I am simply living through the journey itself, present in each and every moment. I can't feel bad because I haven't landed a quad Lutz yet. I'm fully focused on doing my quad sal as best I can. I'm not self-conscious about my physique because I'm too focused on building it. I'm not worried about the guy doing V14 on the board next to me because I'm fully locked in on the crux hold of this V8. Don't get me wrong though, the ambition, the fire that's burning inside is actually still there in these moments. My ability to try as hard as I can, to exercise discipline and restraint, and to have friendly competition with my friends are all a byproduct of this ambition. Remember, I only fell in love with climbing once I realized that I could try as hard as I do when I'm lifting. Goofing around all the time and flailing around on stuff that's easy for you without any semblance of effort or difficulty also isn't the answer. At least it isn't for me. The difference is, in these moments, I'm not checking in on myself. I'm not asking whether I'm good enough, or if my physique is progressing fast enough, whether the person on the wall next to me is better. I'm not identified with the mind that is so aware of itself. And when this happens, I'm completely fine. More than fine, in fact. In these moments, there is truly nowhere else in the world, no other time in history I'd rather be than where I am right now. Over the past few years, I've tried to kill this ambitious part of myself, this fire that rages inside. But the more I try to quell it, the more it comes back with a vengeance. I've been asking, how do I stop needing to be the best? Like the desire itself is the problem. But this desire may not actually be what makes me miserable. It's the constant audit on top of the ambition. Am I great yet? Is the guy next to me better? Instead of using that drive to ground myself in each moment, I'm constantly watching myself as if an outsider and becoming the most unreasonable critic imaginable in the process. So, what should you do when your dreams are dying? Well, I definitely don't have all the answers, but maybe it's best to ground myself in what truly matters. Each present moment where I'm doing the things I love and striving to become better. The ambition and the fire are still in there, raging away. But the goal is the improvement, the process, the struggle, the play, not some arbitrary endpoint in the future. Instead, the dream is to be lived out in every single moment I have left on this earth. Yes, my dream of becoming the world's best climber might be dead. In fact, my dream of becoming the best at anything is probably dead. But maybe that's okay. Because the dream of becoming the best Joseph Kang, someone who's able to push himself to his full potential without the need for constant validation, someone that can continuously improve at the sports he loves for an entire lifetime while actually enjoying every moment of the ride. Well, that dream is still very much alive. And in fact, maybe it's a dream that's just beginning to take hold.